2022. Happy New Year, everybody. There are so many good movies that came out this year. I know everybody says that, but this is a year to remember. I actually didn't get to watch as many movies as I wanted to, but with all the toxic fandoms and reactions to movies this year, misinformation about movie box office, I feel like we should just be happy we got another year of films. With all the shitty things going on in the world and COVID fucking up stuff for people, we should just appreciate the fact that we can walk into a theater, buy some buttered up popcorn with the drink, take a seat, and watch a movie that makes us forget about all our fucking problems. I don't want to be that guy that says there's bigger problems in the world, but come on. Oh no, there's a 3-second gay kiss in Lightyear. This is gonna rot kids' brains into being friends with gays. Or even worse, becoming gay. Oh no, they used the fat suit in The Whale. They're being fat phobic for not casting a real obese actor. He's an actor. He's supposed to be playing someone he's not. By that same logic, a gay actor can never play a straight actor. I'm just glad we got another year full of film. The movie theater industry is still alive, and creators are still telling great stories to help me forget about my problems or just tell stories to help us through our struggles. Like I said, I didn't watch as many movies this year as I did previous years. I usually watched around 60 new movies a year, but this year I only watched 42. So the movies I really wanted to see but didn't get a chance to are The Menu, Avatar 2, Tar, Wakanda Forever, Top Gun, and the three I wanted to see the most, Pearl, The Whale, and The Fablemans. So if I had watched these movies, a lot of these probably wouldn't be on the honorable mentions list or the top 10 list. I will catch up on these movies when the Oscar nominations come out, and I'll talk about them. But enough with the bullshit, let's just get to the honorable mentions. And by the way, none of these honorable mentions are in order. See How They Run, a very underrated movie that nobody's talking about, just another good murder mystery. The Black Phone, full of amazing performances and cinematography with another great horror film under Scott Derrickson's belt. Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, a big surprise that was simply just fun to watch. Sonic 2, I couldn't get myself to stop smiling after walking out of the theater for this. The vibes I got from Sonic were better than they had any right to be. Bones and All, a great mixture of horror and romance with two leads being cannibals, was beautiful and disgusting all at the same time. Bullet Train, just a hilarious action comedy that needs to be made more often. Great direction by David Leitch, although it's not as good as something that Guy Ritchie would make. Metal Lords, an underrated film that came out on Netflix that deserves a watch. As someone who doesn't like metal music, I love the way it was used in this. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, a movie that we should all be talking about a lot more because this had some of my biggest laughs in the theater. The idea of this movie is already genius, but I think that they handled it well with Nicolas Cage, with the great performance by Pedro Pascal. Jackass Forever, a movie that came out at the right time. After we officially had 2 years with COVID, we really needed this. Scream, my most anticipated movie of 2022, and although it didn't live up to my high expectations that were unfair, the fact that they kept the same formula and they still did a pretty good job with it only makes me excited for the next one. Now let's get into my top 10. Number 10. This is easily the best Predator movie since the first one. I knew it would be great because Dan Trachtenberg was directing it, which he had done Ted and Cloverfield Lane, but it really went back to the simplicity of the first. I love the idea of it taking place 300 years ago with this woman from a native tribe dealing with the 7-foot predator. The suspense in this was no surprise with Trachtenberg behind the camera. The performances from Amber Midthunder to the guy playing the predator were great. I went into this with a lot more detail in a previous video of mine. Number 9. This was so charming and awkward all at the same time. I felt for this girl and the obsession over things that are not important, but when you're 13, you think you know everything you need to know. We all know the metaphor of what turning red means, but the way they handled this was great. The animation has gotten to a point where I don't know where it can get any better. I know what it's like to have an overbearing mother, but now that I'm older, I also can understand why parents worry so much. I just wish they put this exclusively in theaters. Number 8. This is obviously not the best thing that has come out this year, but honestly, it's just a shit ton of fun. Some movies or TV shows take themselves way too seriously where we are reminded of our problems. But with this, I could sit down and just smile through the entire thing. I know this isn't a movie, it's a special that's like 45 minutes, but I don't care. The idea of the Guardians kidnapping Kevin Bacon to make sure Peter Quill has a good Christmas was fucking hilarious.
You're coming with us as a Christmas present.
Only problem is that the cinematography looked kind of bland like every Marvel movie. Considering it was directed by James Gunn, I thought it would look a little better. However, movie or just as special, it was the 8th best 45 minutes I spent on a movie. Number 7. I guess my best description of this would be a brutal masterpiece. Although it's not as action heavy as I thought it would be, when the action hits, it fucking delivers. The dialogue is very Shakespearean, and the performance by Alexander Skarsgård is nothing short of brilliant. Anya Taylor-Joy was just a bonus here. I feel like I was in the year that this was taking place. Robert Eggers has proved that he can literally direct anything. They literally do not make movies like this anymore, and they really should. This took so many risks and didn't care. It's just a brutal masterpiece. Number 6. Although I think The Northman was a better film, I felt like I could watch Nope more often. Daniel Kaluuya plays this broken character that I only want to see succeed. I literally have no clue how Jordan Peele filmed some of these scenes. The cinematography was beautiful, along with the score, which should be nominated for an Oscar. I think Get Out was a masterpiece, and Us was good, but lost me a little bit in it. But with Nope, it proves Jordan Peele can only continue to make original stories that have massive impact on its audience, including me. I was also interested in each character because they were all written with something that stood out. Now we get into the top 5. I want to come back to this world that was built in this movie. Gorgeous visuals with an absolute badass musical score that deserves the hype. Robert Pattinson being the top 10, top 5 best actor right now. Great performances by Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, who is unrecognizable. And Paul Dano, who is just straight up the definition of disturbing. And Matt fucking Reeves. What the fuck is this guy on? This guy knows what to do behind the camera and how to build this world. If there's any movie that came out this year that says, I know what the fuck I'm doing, it's this one. Maybe Avatar 2, but I haven't seen it. How does Matt Reeves have a shot where a small rear view mirror is capturing a big muscle car driving out of an explosion? I mean, look at this shit. This movie was 3 hours long and it feels like it's just 2. I do wish they took out 10 minutes of this because they did have a little cameo that I feel like didn't need to be there. Number 4. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. No words can describe how beautiful this film was. This was the only film that I felt like gave me a reason to cry at the end. Although I didn't cry, I just had some shit in my eye. I remember myself in that theater, watching that ending, and my friends staring at me from the side, but my eyes were glued to the screen. However, we all knew without saying a word, we had the mutual understanding that this was beautiful. The deeper meaning with this movie when it comes to family had me resonate with it so much. It had me thinking about the career that I wanted and which family members that I would be willing to spend less time with just to have that career or amount of money I wanted. And how if I lost that close relationship or loved one, no career or money would ever fill that hole inside me. Michelle Yeoh deserves an Oscar nomination, and I have no idea how they were able to do some of these crazy effects. I mean, look at this shit. And seeing how the VFX artist made some of these effects just had me respect this movie even more than I already did. I actually believe that this is the best movie of the year. The only reason why it's on number 4 is because the next 3 I felt like were easier to watch. This movie was very heavy. After watching this, I felt like I got a little too intimate with it, if you know what I mean. I need some time after every time I watch it. When it comes to these next 3 films, I can watch them more because you can look at them with simplicity, or you can look at them with their deeper meaning, or even both. And now getting to the top 3. Where do I even start? Barbarian is my most watched film of the year. I went to see this 3 times in the theater and twice on HBO. This film surprised the hell out of me. Horror isn't even my favorite genre, however. When you make something like this that levels my expectations, you're gonna end up on this list. I love small-scale horror, movies that take place in only a couple locations with interesting characters that actually make, for the most part, good decisions. When the trailer to Barbarian first came out, it made itself out to be a little thriller where a woman gets an Airbnb and it turns out she's been double booked with a stranger. Then weird occurrences start to happen. This is not that at all. I think that's what made it even better. The trailer was this whole misdirect.
Come here!
What this film actually is about is so surprising and it works in every way possible. It's crazy to know that the director came from comedy and made this low-budget, very effective horror film that, although I say a lot, needs to be said again. Hollywood, make more movies like this. I almost have no issues with this movie, with just a couple scenes where I think somebody's being really stupid. Other than that, the performances by everyone were amazing, with great camera work and music. I want to see something like this again. I have so many more things I want to say about this, but I really do got to keep it pushing. Number 2.
My mom has borderline.
I'm so sorry. That's really serious. Mental health is a really serious issue. I mean, I've never actually said this to anyone, but I have body dysmorphia.
Oh my God.
One of the most satisfying endings to any movie this year. What this film does to make fun of Gen Z while also laughing with Gen Z only proves that there can be great original movies in today's age. What Scream did in 1996, making fun of the slasher genre, is what Bodies is doing for Gen Z. Pete Davidson actually gave a good performance, along with Rachel Sennett, Amanda Stenberg, Lee Pace. Everyone was so damn good. The blocking and the way Helena Regine, I think I'm saying it right, the director, moved the camera makes it feel a lot bigger than it actually is. The characters may come off annoying, but that's the point. I also love how Helena just lets the actors do their own thing when it came to improvising.
Did you just fucking shoot me? Relax. You're silencing me.
I didn't expect this to be so high up on my list, but there was so much great horror this year. And number 1. Before you guys roll your eyes, this movie has everything going for it. When I said earlier that Everything Everywhere All at Once was, on a technical level, the best movie of the year, I still mean it. There's nothing actually wrong with Everything Everywhere All at Once. However, same goes for X. But with X, I felt like I could unravel the story in it a lot more, and I love that. X, of course, is a slasher movie, but it's also much more than that. The deeper meaning in us looking at older people as lesser than, or even just as simple as us believing that older people should stay in their home and rest all day, the film has amazing cinematography and music. The performances are top notch, just from this great Scream Queen alone. To Mia Goth playing both Maxine and Pearl at the same time, Kid Cudi only getting better with his acting ability, the fact that the killers are two elderly individuals, with all that, and we forget that this is a porno slasher. The way that they used the porn industry back in the 70s and 80s, tying it into a slasher, makes me wonder, how has this not been made before? I keep throwing the same word around, but this is really brilliant. With all that going for it, as a great slasher movie, you can also look at this as a love and tragedy film. This elderly couple are killing innocent lives, yeah, but they make it so hard for you to dislike them because of this.
You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Not anymore.
Always.
And even each victim have something redeeming about them. These group of victims just happen to be younger with a lot more life ahead of them and an opportunity to live the life that they desire, which is exactly what our main antagonist Pearl has been wanting.
She's always been jealous. I'm younger.
I look at this movie in different ways. My favorite subgenre of horror is the slasher genre, so I look at it in that way, but I also look at it as a love story between this old couple. I also look at it as a tragedy film, as Pearl is too old and doesn't have much life ahead of her to explore her passions and desires. This movie isn't my favorite on my list because it doesn't have any flaws. It's my favorite because it doesn't have anything that I don't like or love. I still can't believe that a movie like this exists. If you were to tell me that a porno slasher movie that takes place in the 70s is going to have themes of love, age, seeking of fame, or just wanting to live, I would think you're crazy. But Ty West made it come true. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please understand that this is all subjective. These are all my opinions. These are all my favorite movies of the year. The first time I watched X was all the way back in March, which it stayed as my #1 film throughout the entire year and obviously became my #1 film. But I do want to know, what are your guys' favorite movies of the year? And since I didn't get to watch as many films as I wanted to, like I said before, what are some films that I should watch, that I should catch up on? I also will be doing a top 20, maybe top 30 most anticipated movies of the year for 2023. And I will be doing a shorter, quicker video of my top 5 worst movies of 2022. And I have a lot more unique ideas that I could make in the future. So thank you guys once again. Let's just hope for another great year of film this year in 2023.